Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of Top End Track Talk. I'm Andrew O'Toole, and today we'll be previewing this coming Wednesday's meeting here at Fanny Bay, which of course will be Australia Day, the 26th of January. A 6-race card awaits racegoers on one of the feature non-carnival meetings of the year, and with some 44 acceptors and really good stakes on offer, the competition on the track should be willing to say the least. Hopefully the weather forecasters have got it right. That'd be a bit change, wouldn't it? With just a shower or two predicted on Wednesday, although there's a bit of rain around prior to the meeting, so we'll be watching the skies with anticipation. Nevertheless, the track has been racing extra well during the wet season, and no doubt the team will have it in A1 condition come Wednesday. The first race on the afternoon is timed to go at 1:59 p.m, with the last of the half dozen scheduled to jump at 5:07 p.m. In the first, the Sitzler 3-year-old and maiden plate over the 1100 metres. My numbers are 1, 6 and 2. Two winners in this event being the hybrid race, the 3-year-old and maiden, and the two winners are number 1 Expert Witness and number 2 Turn Star. And I'm going here with number 1 On Top Expert Witness for Gary Lafoe and Paul Shires rides. It was a good winner here last time out over 1100 in maiden company. Just hung on that occasion to win by a very close margin. Back to the 1,000 metres, I don't think will worry this horse. In fact, it will probably help it, and I think it'll take a power of beating again. Number 1, Expert Witness. To beat number 6, Pointo's Pick, the mount of Jared Todd. An interesting riding engagement here for Tayan Halter. Its run last start was good. That was over the 1,300 metres behind Malibu Edition, and dropping back in trip to the 1,100 rather, I don't think will worry Pointo's Pick. It led in that last start effort and only just tired the last bit, so the 1,100 should suit. And in for third, number 2, the newcomer Turn Star, a son of Star Turn, trained by Phil Cole. Wayne Davis takes the mount. It was the last start second at Lismore on the 8th of November and has some pretty decent form to recommend. So numbers in the first, 1, 6 and 2. The second's the Sportsman's Lunch on the 18th of February handicap featuring Wayne Carey. So that'll be a date to put in your diaries and make contact with the Darwin Turf Club. This is the 0 to 64 over the sprint trip of 1,000 metres. My numbers here are 1, 4 and 5. Going with the top weight here, number 1, Overruled from the stable of Emma Steele, and Adam Nichols takes the mount here at the 60.5 kilos. Drawn a good gate has Overruled, drawn 2. Been racing really consistently with a couple of wins, a second and a couple of thirds his last 5 runs. The 4-year-old son of Reduced Choice. Last started here, went third over 1,100 behind Hatton Man. That was on New Year's Day. And I think this 1,000 metres he'll take a lot of beating number 1, Overruled. To beat number 4, Don't Wait, is trained by Tayan Halter and Stan Sakos in the saddle. Don't Wait was a winner 2 starts back here on the 18th of December. And then last time out when trapped wide was a meritorious third to Familiar. Has drawn 5, drawn out a little bit again, but it's only a 6-horse field and I think will race well. In for third, number 5, Familiar. Speedy type, Phil Cole trains, Wayne Davis in the saddle. A last start winner here on New Year's Day, and will certainly be right in the hunt from the outset for sure. Numbers in the second, 1, 4 and 5. The third is the Ladbrokes Summer Sprint Series handicap. This for a stake of 30,000. It's a benchmark 71 in fact. And it's over the 1,300 metres. My numbers here are 3, 1 and 4 in what's a competitive lineup. Going here with number 3, Trident. Last year's Guineas winner here in Darwin. Also finished third in the Derby, trained by Mark Nyan. Sonia Wiseman aboard. Really impressed with the way he got home first up the other day behind Bell's Banner. That was over a too short 1,100 metres and rattled home into third, beaten 4.5 lengths by that speedy Gary Clark train runner Bell's Banner. The step to 1,300 will really suit Trident. He should be able to race a little bit handier over the journey, and I can see him finishing very strongly and be very hard to beat, carrying the 58.5 kilograms. Number 3 on top. To beat the obvious danger, number 1, Sid Klein. Not a lot of time for this horse. He's racing well. So winner 2 starts back. He's actually won 2 of his last 4. And then last time out, just beaten by his stablemate. Well, it actually was 2.8 lengths in it at the finish. Dizzy Miss Lizzie. She really was far too strong on that occasion. But Syncline finished on well. That was 1,200 metres. The unknown, I suppose, is the 1,300. He hasn't really had too many goes over this trip. But I've got him in to run second, Jared Todd for Gary Clark. And in for third, number 4, Bull Market. Angela Forster trains. Paul Denton visiting from Alice Springs. He's had the 2 runs back now, Bull Market, this campaign. And I thought over this trip of 1,300, with those couple of runs under his belt, he'd be ready to show his best. So my numbers in the third are 3, 1 and 4. The fourth's the 2022 Great Northern Darwin Cup Carnival tickets on sale handicap. It'll be here before you know it, the Darwin Cup of 2022 in the Carnival. So make sure you get in and get your tickets. They're on sale now. This is 0 to 58. It's over the 1,200 metres. A field of 8 to go around here. My numbers are 1, 5 and 6. He's racing really well and deserves to win a race number 1, Mr. Boom Jangles. Gary LaFaux trains. Paul Shires in the saddle. Drawn a decent gate. He's drawn barrier 2. His run here last time was super. He rocketed home and just failed behind his stablemate Wild Rover. That was on the 15th of January over 1,200 metres. Same trip again. 1,300, he'd be an absolute special, but I still think he'll be very hard to beat over the trip of 1,200. One on top. To beat number 5, Really Swish. This is a horse that similarly would probably like a little bit further ground. Chris Pollard trains and Barry Huppett's aboard. Really hit the line solidly last time out for third. That was behind Wild Rover. He really flew home. He should be able to race a bit handier this time because he has drawn an inside gate. He drew out wide last time and got way out of his ground. If he's within a few lengths of them on the home turn, it'll be very hard to beat. And then for third, number 6, All Price, not All Spice, All Price, trained by Kerry Petrick. Casey Hunter aboard. Fourth in the same race behind Wild Rover the other day and was doing its best work late. So the form around that Wild Rover race in the fourth, and the numbers are 1, 5 and 6. Our features race 5, the Silks Darwin Lightning Wet Season Series Final. It's for the 0 to 70 gallopers over 1,200 metres and a field of 8 to face the starter here. My numbers in the $40,000 race are 1, 3 and 5. Mr. Cashman for me, Jared Todd, takes them out for Gary Clark. Was a last start winner here at the last meeting on the 15th of Jan in this grade over this trip. He beat Embley by a length and a half on that occasion, been promising to put a win on the board. He did the job and did it well. He's drawn 4, should get a lovely run from there in transit, and he certainly looks the hardest to beat. Number 1. To beat number 3, New Roman, racing really well for Kerry Petrick. Has won 2 of his last 3 starts, the 5-year-old. Casey Hunter aboard. Comes back in trip from his last start win over 1,300, but has to be included, just racing so well. Should get up on the pace and take plenty of catching. And in for third, number 5, Pembroke Castle, Mark 9 trains. Sonia Wiseman aboard. Fourth last time out behind Mr. Cashman, I thought was a good run, was doing his best work over the concluding stages. So in the big one of the day, my numbers are 1, 3 and 5. Our last on the 6-race card on Australia Day is the Ladbrokes Easy Form Handicap. Form's never easy, but this is the Class 2. It's over the 1,600 metres, and my numbers here are 3, 2 and 1. Savasburg gets his chance here for Chris Pollard and Stan Sakos. He's drawn a handy gate of 2. The 1,600 should suit. His last couple of runs, so his last handful of runs have been over 1,300 and 1,200. Hitting the line solidly, and I just think he's crying out for this trip. With a good run in transit, I think he'll take plenty of beating. Number 3. To beat number 2, Real Reason, Tayan Holter and Sonia Wiseman, the combo. Starting to put some decent form on the board, a 2nd, a 3rd and a 5th. The last 3 starts, and only beaten a couple of lengths by Wild Rover last time out. Attempting the mile, that's a bit of a change for Real Reason, but certainly racing in consistent fashion. And in for third, number 1, Rich Sun, Gary Clark trains, Jared Todd aboard. Having its 3rd start in Darwin, a couple of runs so far have produced a 4th and a 6th, and gets an opportunity here in Class 2 company to put his foot right on the till. My numbers in the last, 3, 2 and 1. The best bet comes up in the first. Race 1, number 1, let's get the money early with Expert Witness. Race 1, number 1, Expert Witness should take plenty of beating over the over the 1,100 metres. While the best roughie is in race 6, number 5, and that's Skellig Island. Just think this horse might be ready to show something of his best form. So race 6, number 5, Skellig Island, the best roughie on the day. Well, that wraps up this edition of Top End Track Talk, but we'll be back again in advance of our next meeting here in Darwin, the first of 3 meetings in February, and it is on Saturday the 5th of February. And until then, good luck and good punting.